Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here then welcome. My name's Chloe. So today's video I'm going to be talking about 5 palettes that I would repurchase and 5 palettes that I wouldn't. So I've seen a few of these videos going around, so I thought that I would film my own because there are some eyeshadow palettes that I do use quite a lot on my channel that I would really recommend, and there are some that I've purchased that I have used on previous tutorials, but just because I have the palette and it's not my favourite palette to use, trying to use up that palette, I guess. If you'd like to see more of me, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram. That's under the same handle as my YouTube, which is Chloe H with 2 E's, but I will pop that in the description box below for you, as well as all of the products that I've used on my face today. Really hope you guys enjoy watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel before you leave, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye! Okay, so the first palette is not going to be a shock to anyone because I use it all the time. It's the Jeffree Star Orgy palette. I just think this is such a gorgeous matte neutral palette. It's a makeup artist's dream, really, as it's just got everything that you need in here. It's got loads of lighter shades for different skin tones. It's got some warm colours, and it's got some more cool tone colours. There's not that many warms in here, it's mostly sort of cool tone, but I feel like, you know, I do have a palette that is very warm, that's got loads of like warm oranges, burnt oranges, like reds, that I could use with this one, but this one is just so nice. The formula is really nice as well, it's so creamy, really easy to blend. I do have some favourite shades, these two down in the corner and then sort of these two in the middle, but I have used this sort of side here for a cool tone look that I have got up on my channel somewhere. It's just a palette that I go back to. So I think this retails for, I mean, I bought it off my friend for around £40 because she had a duplicate in one of the mystery boxes, but I think this is around sort of 50 something, but he does always do, every now and then he'll do like a buy one get one free palette offer on his main website, or you can get all sorts of coupon codes for Beauty Bay and things. If you look through my YouTube, you'll see that 9 times out of 10 when I've got just a neutral look, neutral eyes, I'm using this palette here. It's just a go-to. It's always in my makeup desk, ready to whack out when I need it. It's got lovely shades in here that you could just pop on the lid for a quick little something in the crease and a lash and just go. Or it has got the deeper shades here if you want to do something nice and smoky for date night, or it's just a great all-rounder. The only thing I'd say about this palette is it's a very rude palette. It's called Orgy and it has very rude names, so if you are using this on clients, I would personally depop them and put them into like a My Kit Co palette instead, because, you know, if you have somebody, a client that doesn't really appreciate, you know, shade being used called Glory Hole. So I heard some people say that they think this palette would be better if there were a few shimmers in here that would sort of complement the shades, but I really like that it's an all matte palette because I have other palettes that have a few matte shades and then some shimmers, and this kind of sets it apart. As I do have little like pigments from Peaches and Cream or little eyeshadow sticks that I could just pop with this. It's a very versatile palette. You could use this with colour, you can use this with glitters, all sorts. It's a really nice sort of foundation for a lot of looks. So next I've got my Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. This is my favourite out of the Naked palettes. I just think that this is a gorgeous, I mean the mirror is extremely dirty, that's gross, but I think this is just such a lovely warm palette that comes out around Christmas time for me, or in the summertime as well, where I'm feeling like doing something a bit more like yellow toned with my looks. As you can tell, this gold shade is my favourite. It is just ruined. I've gone into it so much, but even like these shades here, like amber and golden, they are very nice shimmers. They're just a bit more like dialed back, because that one is just like bam, gold. And then this one here as well is like a really nice sort of shimmery brown. I do feel like the other shades complement it. My only thing with this palette is that I wouldn't want the lighter shade to be a shimmer. I'd want that to be matte, and a few of the shades here, like Swan and Keeper, they are very similar. I'd probably swap that out and put just a matte yellow in here, and then this palette would just be perfect. But I do really like the formula of this eyeshadow. I like the way that it blends, and I'm just instantly inspired when I look at it. I mean, I always want to just go straight in with honey, and 9 times out of 10 I do when I open this palette, but there are some other really nice shimmers in here. Like, you have 2 darker ones if you want to go more sort of darker in your look, or you do have a really nice gold here, like an antique gold, and a slightly orangey toned gold as well. You could just create so many looks with this, and it'll be really nice to travel with as well, because they are quite slim palettes. So I can't remember how much this palette was. I bought this when I was at Debenhams when I could use like discount on it, when I did work on the beauty counters, but I would wear this non-stop. And it is an old sort of favourite that I will just bring out and just wear. It's timeless. It's got those sort of shades that are always very popular, especially around Christmas time. So my next 3 palettes are actually Plouise. I really like her formula and the quality of her both her packaging and her eyeshadows. So this one is relatively new for me. I got this towards the end of last year. This one is the But Does It Come in Pink? So I did originally have the Jeffree Star, what's it called, Religion palette, as a pink palette that I would use, but a lot of the shades I felt weren't quite pink, they were a bit more purpley, but this palette here, it just has such a lovely range. I love the layout, how it just goes from light to, like, you've got like hot pinks, and then you've got like the dark shades here as well, and I do like her shimmers as well. As you can tell, I've favoured this one, and she does have a gorgeous pink just here as well, and I do really like this sort of berry colour here as well. I've created quite a few looks with this palette that will be on my channel if you look back. This came in the budget box, so I got it was £30, and I got other pieces with it, so it's a bargain for me to get it. I'm not sure how much it retails for by itself. But you can create so many different looks with this. You can just stay sort of the lighter shades with a little bit of shimmer, or you could go really dark here, or you've got like a pop of like this I Heart You or It's Official. They're just like candy pink, hot pinks. You've just got a whole array, and I feel like there's I don't like it when there's too many shimmers, but there's only sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 if I counted correctly, and then the rest are mattes, which I do really like. And she's not repeating anything. Like, you've got like a hot pink, you've got like a berry pink, and then you've got like mauvey here, and then hot pink. You've just got a nice array of colours. I feel like it's a very well thought out pink palette. So next I have the Money Shop palette here. I have worn this eyeshadow palette to death. I was completely obsessed with it when I first purchased it, and you get so many shades in here. I love that it's a big box, so you've got the top part here, and then you've got the bottom part here. So you've got your more classic sort of forest greens up the top, you've got your very bright greens and pale greens, and then down the bottom you've got sort of like army khaki greens, and you've got a few gold in there as well, and like I love like the baby puke sort of colour as well. It's just everything that you want in a green palette. I don't have an all green palette. I kind of created my own custom one using Melchior shadows, but this one just takes the top spot for me. The shimmers in here as well are just fantastic. They are so creamy, they go on so nicely. I love this one here. It just reminds me of like Tinkerbell. And then this one is gorgeous. It's like a nice sort of minty shimmer. And then of course you've got a dark green as well. You've got, again, it's a nice mix of mattes and shimmers, and you've got it kind of, you look where the shimmer is and you see the shades around it and you just know what shades to use. So for anybody that looks at this palette and just thinks, oh my god, that's a lot there, if you just pinpoint on sort of one of the shimmers, you could just see around them the colours that would go with them to blend. And I love the tray at the bottom as well, that it involves some gold and some sort of browns in here as well, so you could do a more neutral look or incorporate a little bit of green in with it. It's all like a bit of gold with the green. They just go really well together. Again, an extremely well thought out palette by Plouise. So I got that one from TikTok Shop on a bundle. I think it was around £40 because I got some brushes with it. But there's all sorts of bundles and coupons and things if you look on TikTok Shop. And then of course I had to throw in my A World of Wonder palette as well. This is the purple version of the sort of box style that she does. She did do a blue one around Christmas time that I was so tempted to get, that I didn't because I do have my Jeffree Star Blue Blood. But look, kind of like that a little bit if you just see there. So I do really like Blue Blood. It did miss out slightly in my top 5 because these ones just sort of came to mind immediately when I thought of doing this this video. I'd say Blue Blood is hitting at number 6. So if I had a top 6, then I would be talking about Blue Blood as well. So this is the top part. I mean, how dreamy are those shades? And then you've got the bottom bit here. I mean, I think that the bottom row is my favourite because look, you've got more bluey toned purples as well, and it's just gorgeous, like more sort of pastel-y tones. And again, a really nice, well thought out palette where you've got shimmers dotted around and you've got the matte shades around it, so you can really see the look. And again, I've done quite a few looks on my channel using that purple palette, and it's just inspiring me to do more. Like now I'm picking out these palettes that it's just inspiring me to create more looks with them. And that's another thing that's so great about these palettes, is that, you know, it just gets your creative juices flowing. You look at the palette and you just want to pick it up and push it on your eyes, and you want to do this look or that look. So I've already got a few ideas up here just from getting at the palettes and just looking at the shades and showing them to you. Okay, so next I'm going to move on to 5 eyeshadow palettes that I wouldn't repurchase and I would not recommend. If I had a little time machine and I could go back in time, I wouldn't have bought them in the first place. I feel like I have wasted my money. I feel like there are better palettes out there. So yes, let's get into it. So this video is in no way about dragging any of the brands, any of the products. It's just my personal opinion. For example, some of the brands that I talk about in this video, there might be other products from them that I do really like that are some of my staples that aren't an eyeshadow palette, and the same for products, the eyeshadow palettes that I do like. There's probably other products that brand sells that I don't like. So this video is no hate towards any of the brands. It's just my personal opinion, my personal preference. Everyone is different, and eyeshadows that I would prefer to use and eyeshadow palettes that I just didn't feel like I need or didn't want to waste my money on buying again. First off, I have a Jeffree Star Pink Religion. I thought I'd include this one because I prefer the Plouise But Does It Come in Pink palette. So right off the bat, it has got less shades. I do like the 3 shimmers in this palette. I think that they are very, very nice. But the matte shades are so similar. Like these 3 here just look the same. As well as these ones. They sort of blend the same. They all blend into one. I have spoken about this on my channel when I have used this palette, that I have to be very careful what shades I use and how often I go into them, and how I blend them really. I have to be extremely careful because they are just the same shades. And Jeffree Star, I mean, I do really like his eyeshadow formula, but they are quite expensive palettes, and compared to the Plouise pink one, I prefer that one. There's more of a shade range, more shimmers, different shades. This one, I just don't think that this is a pink palette. They're more purpley shades in here, and there's like this like reddy tone shade. It doesn't scream pink to me. So next I have the Norvina palette. I got this for my birthday a couple of years ago. I was so excited to use this palette. I looked at it and I thought, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like, you've got some glitters at the top, and then you've got like pastel colours, you've got like really nice pop of colours, and then you've got the neutral shades at the bottom, so you could create a lot of looks with it. But I just think that the shades are very chalky, and I don't think they are easy to blend at all. I have started out a lot of makeup looks using this palette and then just completely given up because I haven't liked the way that they've turned out. I've heard a lot of people say that you need to treat them differently because they are more of a pigment than just like a normal eyeshadow formula, but I have used this in many different ways and I still do not like the outcome. This palette looks absolutely gorgeous, but I just do not like the formula at all, and it's really put me off buying her other palettes because I'm not sure what it's called, but the orange one with like all the butterfly work on the front, I have wanted that for so long, but I thought I'd buy that one first, and because I don't like this one, I won't be buying that one, which I'm gutted. There are a few shades in here that I do like I do really like this blue here. I have done a look on my channel using it, and then this is more of like a pressed sort of glitter that you can just pat over the top of looks. I don't mind having that shadow in the palette. I do use it when I do want to add a little bit of glitter, but yeah, I have just sat down and thought, oh, let's try this look, didn't like it. Let's try that look, didn't like it. And this is quite an expensive pro palette as well, so I am gutted, but wouldn't recommend it, would not purchase this again. Next I've got some BPerfect. So I know that Stacey Marie has come out with a lot more palettes since, and they've obviously got better, but this is her first palette, which is called Carnival, and it just looks like this. This is a very basic palette. I do not use either of the highlighters. I don't really like the formula of them, and then I'm a bit confused by the layout and the colours included because they're not really cohesive. They, I mean, you do have like a little bit of purple here, and then you've got a little bit of a blue corner here, and then you've got some neutrals here, but then you've got like these random pinks, and I don't really get it. I haven't really reached for it. I think I've used this on my channel once, where I used these neutral shades at the top, but yeah, there are much better palettes out there with a lot better colour stories, and she has done better palettes with BPerfect since. I'm not sure if this is discontinued now or if it is still available, but it's not something that I would recommend, and it's not something that I would repurchase. I haven't touched this in ages. Okay, next I have some Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Modern Renaissance palette. This was so popular when, God, way back when. This is what she looks like here. You've probably heard of her if you are very into makeup. So this palette was really popular. I mean, looking at it now, I'm just like, really? This? I think it's because we hadn't really seen these sort of reds, and it just kind of took the internet by storm. So many people were using it. I remember watching Holly Boone's tutorials on this and recreating those looks and just feeling so like glam, like an Anastasia Beverly Hills girl. I don't mind the Anastasia Beverly Hills formula. Some of her eyeshadows are really nice and some of them are not. I know that there's been a bit of a controversy about some of her palettes that she came up with later, and the kickback of those. I can't remember having an issue with this palette. That's just Obi on the floor having a little nap. You dreaming, cheeky boy? I just remember using this so much and I was so obsessed with it, and I haven't used this in years. I haven't touched it. There are palettes that have come out with much better sort of colour stories than this. I know that they have sort of reformulated it and brought it out with like a, I think it's like a quad or something, but it doesn't really interest me. I'm just kind of looking at this palette and thinking, what, if I had to sit down and do an eyeshadow look, what I would do. I think a lot of the shimmers are the same, like these three, but yeah, it is not something that I would repurchase, and there are probably people to this day that are still obsessed with this palette, but looking back I'm just like, what was the hype over this? I just can't see it now. And lastly, I have this palette here from Morphe. This is the Dare to Create 39A palette. So I bought this on a Black Friday sale years ago because I was just obsessed with Morphe. That was when Morphe was the eyeshadow brand. I do really like their 35O palette. That is like a cult classic, and I think that one's timeless, where it has got gorgeous neutral shades, pops of orange, lovely shimmers. It is a sort of staple in an eyeshadow palette that I will always keep in my collection. But this one here, I don't quite get. I think that it was just like the next palette from Morphe that I just wanted to get my hands on, because they were just rolling out so many palettes. And I'm just looking at it and thinking, I can kind of see that they've sort of like got this as a blue section, this is like a green, and then that's the reds, and then neutrals here, and then, I mean, these first three are very similar, and then I feel like these could have been there, wondering what this could have been instead. I look at this and I'm a bit confused. I have done a look with this palette, I'm sure, on my YouTube somewhere, but I'm just looking at this now and there are shades in here that I have not touched. Looking at these shimmers, I just feel like you get a much better payoff with other brands. They look very wishy-washy, like they won't really do much. They'd be more of a topper, or you'd need to put like a pigment over the top of them. Yeah, I mean, comparing like this section here to my Jeffree Star Blue Blood doesn't compare, and comparing these green shades here to my Plouise Money Shop palette, they don't compare. So it's just kind of a palette that's gathering dust in my collection, really. But I'm such a hoarder that I can't let anything go. But yeah, if I could go back, I wouldn't have purchased this palette. I don't think that I need it. And Morphe as a brand, they don't really excite me anymore. I think that I do still follow them on Instagram, or I've recently unfollowed them, I'm not sure, but I don't get excited about their launches. Hey guys, so that was the end of the video. I really hope you've enjoyed watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel before you leave, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!